All of us as neurodivergents are constantly walking this very thin line between authentic self-expression and social appeasement. We're constantly scanning our social environs for signs or cues that we're doing the right thing and that we're not going astray. We watch other people's reactions to see if we've said or done something inappropriate because we know as neurodivergents, we think, behave, and communicate in what's considered to be unconventional ways by neurotypicals. And this squeeze, this pressure to always socially conform, is often combated by this desire to just show up as we would like to show up. We don't necessarily feel like we're inherently wrong for the way that we operate, and that's a pretty fair way to think, right? Because no neurotypical goes into the world constantly doubting themselves. It's taken for a given that the way that they think, feel, and communicate and behave is normal, and there's nothing wrong about it. Whereas we're then conditioned by social rejection to believe that there is something wrong with how we operate. And this leads to constant sense of shame and inferiority and defectiveness and constant overcompensation to meet what seems like often arbitrary expectations by neurotypicals. And it often feels like a game that we're bound to fail because somehow or another we're going to miss a cue, or we're going to not have certain knowledge, and we're going to make a mistake because we don't have a vocabulary for that specific instance that's cropped up in a social situation, because we don't have prior experiences. A new novel situation brings so much uncertainty because we don't know what kind of eventualities will happen and then what we should do when they do. That's why a lot of us like to use scripts. A lot of us like to stick to familiar environments because we can predict what's going to happen. We know how to socially adjust to just get by. When we go out of that familiar environment, disaster can result. And we live in a constant state of catastrophizing because we're anticipating something going wrong and then us getting into trouble and then dealing with social consequences of rejection or marginalization, or more material consequences like losing a friendship or losing a job. Have you struggled with this as a neurodivergent in social environments, walking this line between authentic self-expression and then social appeasement? How have you navigated it? Has it led to a lot of chronic anxiety? Has it given you opportunities to learn and adapt? And have you found ways to adapt and survive in a neurotypical world? I would love to hear from you.